Hey, who's in the room with me? It's your girl, Em. Thank you so much for coming back. Let's sit at the table and talk because today's conversation is about the 10 reasons why I chose not to return to Jamaica but to move to Kenya instead. I made a promise to have this video out, and here it is. Initially, I thought it would be about 5 points, and I did my analysis. So, yeah, I'm a little thorough that way. Anyways, let's jump right into it. All right, point number one, the difficulty of reintegrating in Jamaican society, especially for those that have been away for decades. It is very difficult to move back to Jamaica. It's not just about not connecting or reconnecting with family that you might or might not know. It's not even anything about that, because you could move to Jamaica and move somewhere else. So that's not the point I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you are accustomed to certain professional services, it's hard to give that up. It's hard to not be able to go into a bank and get banking done the way that you've been accustomed to. Like, there's no reason why you should go into a bank and it would take, even an hour to do something that should just be minutes. These are some of the things that it just irks you. It wears away at you. It prohibits you to have a productive day. And it's not just banking. Okay, let's talk about technology. For example, digital services. You have your phone, and yet the Wi-Fi system does not work proficient. It's not the same from, say, the north side of the island to the south. You can have really good reception in the north, and then you go to a low pocket and the calls are dropped, or you have no Wi-Fi connectivity. These are things that in 2025, you want to know that you can rely on your phone service. You can rely on your Wi-Fi service, especially if you're doing business. I mean, these are just the common basic things. So technology, of course, even understanding the political scene. And these are things that I don't even want to go down that road. Let's talk about one more thing, and that is healthcare. Healthcare is, especially as you age, you need to rely on proper being able to have access and have proper health care. And that is something that, not to say there's no proper health care in Jamaica, but getting to the healthcare is one thing. Accessing the healthcare is another. Paying for the healthcare is another layer. So it just, all these nuances just start to add up. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why this is number one, and it's a loaded number one. Okay, so number two is colonization. You might say, what? Yeah, colonization is still alive and well in Jamaica. Very much so. From the way that institutions are run, to the way that businesses are deemed, to the political scene, colonization is still alive and well, unfortunately, regrettably. It actually has just morphed and taken on a new guise, meaning that it used to be held by the Brits, and then it moved into the American influence. And when I say influence, strong influence, to the fact that they're still trying, if you know what I mean. Now there's a new player, and that being the Chinese contingency that, for example, Chinese corporations, Chinese merchants, Chinese miners. And yeah, this is serious, because this equates to basically China owning a big majority stake in Jamaica. That's the truth. They call it the Belt and Road Initiative, which is all fine and dandy. But in Jamaica specifically, it's more like the Chinese buyout initiative of Jamaica. That's what it is. The island is too small for anyone who's thinking of starting a business to start a business without deep pockets. You're not going to be able to scale. That's the sad reality of it, because obviously there's a number of dynamics to it when you look at the metric. The island only has less than 3 million people. And out of those 3 million, the buying power is reduced to 25 to 30% of those that could logistically support your business on a regular. Unfortunately, that equates to less than 1 million people. You are limited with, obviously, selling online in Jamaica. I'm not saying it's not a thing. Accessing that is not as easy as it should be. Moving goods across the island is done, but it's arduous. When you're talking about, even if it's not goods, if you do digital products, if you get into the tourism business, you're competing with businesses that have been in Jamaica for a while, that have deep pockets that they can throw money at to be able to scale. And that's what is being done. So for you to think that you're going to go to Jamaica and open a business and then it just takes off is very difficult. There's too many nuances. It's too difficult to manage. You have to be on site to make sure that that business is flowing the way it should be. And that's a near impossibility for, as I said, for returnees, as like myself included. It's just difficult. So that for me is part of the reason why I chose not to. All right. Point number 4. I know I just said that the island is too small to do business, but here's the flip side. It's large enough that it is very expensive to navigate. That's the opposite side of the coin. And when I say hard to navigate, I'm talking about the cost to navigate, the cost to travail the island, the cost to get from point A to point B. You are exhausting, number one. Even with the new roads, the new highways, it is exhausting because the cost is just exorbitant. You might say, okay, well, why not just buy a car? Yeah, you can buy a car. At what price? And then, the cost of obviously maintaining the vehicle, because some of them roads are serious. The point that I'm trying to make in regards to navigating the island and traversing the island is that not only does it cost a lot, but it limits you. As a result, it limits you. It limits you in your growth. It limits you in your freedom. It limits you in your mobility. It's just very expensive. For example, you might say, okay, well, I'll just hire Mr. John down the road to take me to the airport. Well, let me just say, Mr. John's looking for that in US dollars. It's not just about, doing a favor to a friend. No, there's a serious cost attached to moving around on the island of Jamaica. Okay, moving on to number 5. The economic landscape in Jamaica is very lopsided. It is truly, of anywhere that I've looked at, studied, it is truly, truly lopsided. But then again, we shouldn't be surprised because this is something that happens in the global south. It happens primarily in countries that are or were colonized. I'll just leave it at that. But the reason why I go back to this point, especially for Jamaica, is that most of the corporations that have holdings in Jamaica are foreign entities. They operate in Jamaica and do quite well, especially in the tourism sector, in the real estate sector. They do quite minerals, again, rare earths. They do quite well. But the sad reality is most of that income, most of the profits are siphoned off and they leave Jamaica. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because it's systemic, because that money which is supposed to stay in the country to build the country, to help to advance the country, it leaves. So hence, the growth of the island is not, the GDP is not growing. It's not growing the way that other countries are. Now, people might again come at me in the comments with this, but the truth is the truth. The sad reality is most of the, especially in the sector, in the tourism sector, most of the people that work so hard to make sure that tourists, visitors to the island are well taken care of, they are making just above broke. They are not even able to help the economy advance because they're just basically taking care of their day-to-day needs, if at all. So you have to understand that Jamaica's tourism sector is the biggest industry on the island. So hence, if individuals aren't able to move some of that money into the economy, then you've got a poverty, cycle that continues to perpetuate poverty, lack, mindset, violence. Like, that's the sad reality. So that's number 5. I'll leave it at that. Number 6, let's move on. Number 6 is morality, or lack thereof. Morality in Jamaica, especially when it comes to, the family structure, when it comes to relationship, when it comes to sexuality, when it comes to even the culture, within the music scene, the lack of morality that's conveyed is very disturbing, and it's very detrimental to society, to Jamaican society. You already see it playing its hand in the music scene. And, we're known for our reggae scene. We're known for our reggae music. We're known for other things, but our music is what has also placed us on the map. And when it comes to seeing how the lack of morality has started to ebb and eat away at our blessings through music, it really is a shame. I am a proud Jamaican, always have, always will be. But the sad reality is that the truth does hurt. The lack of morality is the price we pay for the high rate of mortality. And that is the truth. All right, moving on to point number 7. Let's pick it up a notch. We're staying on M. M. Alex, I'll take M for money for 1,000. Money in Jamaica is like butter against sun, meaning that money just disappears so fast. I don't know what it is. When you go on holiday in Jamaica, I kid you not, you are hitting that bank or that ATM before the week is even done. I don't get it. I have no idea how it works, but it is true. The other thing about money is, regrettably, if individuals like the great Usain Bolt or other residents in Jamaica can have their investments and their retirement funds siphoned off, that is very concerning. I cannot even fathom how to even navigate that situation. And the last point about money, and don't come at me. Don't come at me. I am speaking my truth, okay? The truth of the matter is that in Jamaica, family, friends can really change your direction. Let's just put it this way. You've seen it, you've had it, you've experienced it, where you go on holidays, or you get, the light bill need to pay, the electricity bill, the land tax, the cow tax. I'm just joking, but seriously, no joke. You got to deal with somebody dead left. Like, there are too many issues. Okay, English, go back. When somebody passes and, they leave some land or something, and you got to do the probate, but there's always existing issues around that needs to be paid, taken care of. That's what is meant by that. I say all that to say this: there's always something that's going to literally bleed whatever you've set aside to now retire on or build with. It is a slow bleed. And unfortunately, that is the truth. If you know, you know. If you're Jamaican, you know what I'm talking about. Okay? So that is something that is very difficult to deal with. And rather than losing friendship, relationship, familyship, it is not worth it. So I would prefer to just go elsewhere and have my peace. Point 8 is the lack of respect for those individuals that are returning to Jamaica to retire. The lack of respect that costs dearly. It's such a difficult thing when somebody is abroad and they decide to return to Jamaica, and other people move from other countries and they go to Jamaica and they're living their best life, while the returnee is otherwise, meaning living in fear sometimes. They return to their community or sometimes buy land somewhere else and think that they might just live a comfortable existence. Every story is different, and there's a story, there's a situation behind every story. But the said point that I'm trying to make, there's been far too many stories. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. This should not be the case. When someone returns to the island, they should be allowed to live and to enjoy the rest of their retirement. Number 9, the cost of food. My goodness, I'm still in shock at how expensive things are in Jamaica when it comes to food. I don't even know how the average family navigates that, because I just can't see how I, being an individual, can even navigate that. So I know that, we had cause and effect, for example, COVID, that brought the price, inflation up. And of course, 2023, I think it was, there were 2 hurricanes, Ian and Nicole. And then last year, 2024, Miss Beryl showed up and decimated the food basket region of Jamaica on the South Coast. So yeah, these things happen. Oh my Lord. How to even justify a 500 Jamaican dollar tomato? That doesn't make sense. Well, granted, that's a beefsteak tomato. I get it. But an average 2 tomatoes in a package for 300 Jamaican dollars, just Google the conversion of what that is. But the point is, I can't rationalize that. That doesn't make any sense to me. And these are things that are grown on the island. So yeah, which is a shame, because we're known for our food. We're known for our food, but you don't move to Jamaica just for the food. You move, yes, for food, but there has to be other things in place to make that entire experience wonderful and peaceful. So point number 10, last but certainly not least, the unpredictability. The unpredictability in the weather. Not to say that, we're talking about storms and stuff, but the heat, like already, the heat, the unpredictability of politics, the unpredictability of policy changes, the unpredictability of even our own Jamaican people. There's just too many variables that can go this way or that way. And not to say that that we're not kind people, we're not good people, we're not hard. We are. But it only takes that one person to change things, to swing things one way or the other. And sometimes there's no reasoning with that one person. So the unpredictability is a little bit, it just doesn't sit well. So this is a bonus point that I have to mention. It would be remiss of me not to mention it, because it affects so many Jamaicans. And that is the lack of access to our beaches in Jamaica. That's a huge issue. It's a huge red flag. I've not seen a country where, when beachfront property is sold, access is denied. Nowhere, I shouldn't say nowhere on this planet, because I can't speak to that. But Jamaica, again, because of colonization and because it favored the ones that in the early when laws came into place after independence, that landowners and those with money that was able to buy beachfront property wanted to protect their rights and access to the beach. And as a result, this is part of the problem with living on the island, is that Jamaicans have very limited beach acts, and that is a problem for me. That's also another reason why I chose Kenya over Jamaica. With all of those points, I hope that you can see some of the nuances that I had to struggle with and I had to mull over and think through. Because, as I said, nowhere no better than Yard, meaning nowhere is better than Jamaica when it comes to going and having an amazing time and just loving living in the moment. But the reality is, when you have to extend and live beyond the moment, you have to think about these things. So it's for that reason those reasons why I chose not to return to Jamaica at this time. All right, it's your girl M. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you will comment, of course, number one. I hope that you will share, number two. And I hope that you will subscribe and follow, number three. Have yourself a fantastic day. M, peace out.